liking what Nigma's got going on. I love the idea, because again, we saw in the earlier series, the Phoenix just had nothing to protect the egg. In this case, we've got stuff to protect the egg, and it feels like they really knew what they wanted to do with this draft, whereas I felt Liquid was a little bit more like, okay, we need to find something now, and I guess this solves our problem, so I'm going to go with Nigma.
All right, let's find out what's going to happen then in this opening game of the series. We have for commentary duo, OD Pixel and BSJ.
Thank you very much, Chief. Yeah, this should be a fun one for sure. Nigma up against Liquid. Brian, we've had the drafts. Quite a lot to talk about. What are you most excited to see here?
I'm excited for the Carry Bristle. This is a hero that I kind of theory crafted with the Eternal Shroud. I'm curious if you go on Carry, because the off-lane Bristle, it seems pretty obvious that utility plus tankiness would be nice, but is he going to go more like the S and Y? Is he going to go more like the damage route? But I like this off-lane Mirana for specifically Liquid, because if it was any other team, I feel like I would be concerned for the same reasons Kyle is, but what they tend to do is they'll swap up like the roles of the Sand King and the Mirana, where the Sand King becomes more of the 3 and the Mirana is just for the egg, I think later on, but here we go.
Oh my goodness, yeah, we have a 4-5 on 5 here, really, with Tiger starting things off with the Burrow Strike. Lumbright's going to be down, silencing the Sand King. Who's going to get the kill first? Tiger's getting low to the battle. Nigma's running him down, but it's going to be Liquid that gets first. But taking that mind control, they do lose Tiger in return. It's a 1-for-1. They're going to be able to get a second. Liquid, as they'll also finish off Kuro with the stacked wheels. 2 kills for Liquid, just the 1 hit for Nigma, but yeah, both teams already ready to brawl, and I think we're going to see a lot of that this game, right? Both teams are going to want to be bringing the fight.
Yeah, there is non-stop fight from all of these heroes. So much damage, so much control on both sides, and yeah, I think that's only a small sample of what's to come.
Yeah, as both take a read of one another, but as you say, you said you're interested to see what Mickey does with Carry Bristle. I mean, the game as a whole, do you think Nigma's drafted some good solutions for the Bristle? Have they sort of identified the fact that it would be in this sort of position 1 and have the relevant means to deal with it?
Well, yeah, what I think teams are thinking with this Puck first pick is that the best way to deal with Coil is to just stand there. And these Bristle DK heroes, I think, are meant to address that, right? But I think they're kind of ignoring the fact that GH is playing Phoenix. Percent-based damage over time. If there's any hero in the game that's going to offer enough damage to bring down these strengthy, tanky cores during the Coil, it is Phoenix. So we've seen GH carry the crap out of games with it in the past, and I think that he's going to be kind of the crucial factor towards it. I'm curious if they're going to try to do any synergy with the Blood Rage to amp up his damage even more, but he'll probably just be using it on himself most of the game.
Yeah, for sure. Having this axe as the last bit is very nice to get that Bristol facing the correct way so they can get the damage into the front. Top. Going mid lane so far, quite the 7-for-1. We are trade 3-2. Down bottom, Palm for Miracle. Pretty good so far here, 8-for-4. Foxy getting out of this lane. Not a lot at all, but it's going to be what we do see Liquid doing. Looks like Boxy's sort of taking a step back, and they're going to be letting Tiger doing the farming on this bottom lane as the Sand King.
So weird that they do this. It's the only team I've seen in a long time do it. It's a lot about Taiga plays these really greedy heroes, the ones that end up being like cores in of themselves from the Chipotle, like the Enigma. In this case, Sand King is a very heavy farming core. It becomes more of a split-pushing mobile hero. I think they're going to have a tough time dealing with him later as well. My issue with Team Nigma's draft, potentially, is not necessarily that they can't bring down one of these heroes, but that they can't bring down all of them. That there's just 3 very, very tanky, they're all going to build to live cores, and pretty much all of Nigma's team is predicated around killing them.
Yeah, you feel it for Liquid as well. Bottom. Getting rather low. He's going to start running down Tiger. Tiger's Burrow Strike available for a couple of seconds. Miracle's going to have damage in time. No Burrow Strike. But Miracle will still get the kill. Might bring down the Bloodseeker in time. Miracle down the side. Maybe wants to try and get back in. Remnants out from Kuro. Kuro will die, but it looks like Miracle find the cleanup. Boxy with the leech salving up. Miracle trying to chase. Boxy's got enough leech charges to get out of there.
Bloodseeker hero, man. The sustain is insane. All these little skirmishes are going to come down to like that fine line if he gets that kill off or not, because then he gets all of his health back and lives for it. But Taiga's going to be back in lane, full HP. Void Spirit will have to keep you back and give him a couple stabs. He does have that. So lane's pushing in though. Miracle might miss a decent amount of creeps. Kuroki going to drag the creeps off the tower for his carry. Quite nice of him to do that. I don't think that death's all that bad for Taiga. Boxy ends up getting a solo XP on a kill as well. And then overall, since he's coming back full health, and basically this stun combo scales really well against this Bloodseeker hero. He's not going to have some natural way to survive, so Void Spirit's going to be glued down here for a while. But yeah, it seems like both teams have so much threat on each other down here that it's pins and needles. That's all I'm thinking with this one.
Yeah, both sides just each other very low, and yeah, but both duos sort of have to really think if, you know, can we keep pushing for this kill, or are they just going to be able to turn around and its head? So aggressive at the same time. Kuros starts to go forward. Taiga, time he can sort of find that burrow strike with the arrow, they'll shot taking them down. Mid, Weeha is take the walk back to base here. Quite probably did have a PD go help him. So great against him. Time to come out. Wave also ahead of Weeha now that Weeha has had to spend that time in his base. Bounty runes up. Instania is able to step in and grab it away from GH. Getting Instania low, but can't go too great.
The prize is mine.
Cross.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Instania. So far, pretty close start across the board. Anything sort of surprising you with the way the lanes have gone down? Is there any sort of lanes that you would have imagined would have beginning to look a bit more one-sided?
No, I'd say most of the heroes in this game are kind of about getting their own stuff, as we see a clear in the mid lane. GH with the immediate TP and Kuroki with the reach around, but nope, the arrow from Doxy is actually going to potentially save Koifa here. Will it be enough?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
GH able to lay down those nice last few fire spirits to secure the kill on Koifa. Now Boxy, he's committed in team to try and help out. He'll also lose his life there. Nice attempt with the arrow follow-up onto the GH. Not quite enough to kill him. The GH able to get out the diving spirits to make sure that the Nigma still come out on top of that. Because then around here, we are setting up. And finding himself very lovely.
Yeah, that just shows a really good understanding of the matchup from Team Nigma, because Puck just usually doesn't have enough damage to stop that original DK push. So that first DK form amounted to nothing, and that's a crucial timing to kind of slow down, because DK's a traditional counter to Puck. If you see in another lane, I'm not going to have enough time to talk at all this game. Boxy arrows up on Kuroki.
To be able to have this here, Kuro. No further way to get out of there. Taiga comes in with the last punch.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Same time, top lane. I mean, that's not, it's going to be a tough hero to take down right now. Mikke with the brace for the ring up of health. Not really a target that these two are going to be able to do too much about.
I just love DK against Puck, because Puck's all about that poke damage early, and DK has that instant stun to deal with Puck later. As Weeha has decided, I'm no longer worrying about this DK, as Bull is used to kill the coddle, but it's pretty good when you make a quick rotation like that. And Mikke might have to be a bit fearful, but that's kind of the power of Bristleback, is that even without his support, it should be pretty tanky here, but it's been the pure damage.
They got it.
Wow.
An excellent move from Weeha, turning that, you know, quick straight dream call into a keeper of the line to kill on the carry. Now back over towards mid. Miracle going to come across the start to set up onto Koifa with the run. Koifa trying to step back up to the safety of the high ground. He's not going to be able to get away. And Weeha, he's the one to turn up to clean up the glory here. Triple kill for Weeha. Maybe even more. Boxy is getting very low. The urn's going to tick him down, and Weeha's going to be able to get another ultra kill on the Puck. Weeha could not be starting off this game any better here. 5-0-2 already for the 8-minute mark.
These movements are so fast from Team Nigma. This is crazy. Like, from lane to lane, I can't even keep up with it as a caster, let alone a player. This is crazy.
What was I
Just had a poke
doing?
around Weeha. Not going to be able to grab his hands on the room. Will then away. progress. A Miracle going for the phase into the Maelstrom. And is this sort of just, this is the go-to build nowadays on carry Bloodseeker Maelstrom every time?
Yeah, the spell damage plus, or spell amplification plus attack speed from your Blood Rage, it's just too good, right? And they also buff Maelstrom, so that a lot of carries are buying the item. It's just crazy that they have so many tanky cores on the side of Team Liquid, and Nigma just understands that so well, because they realize that if they want to bring down these cores, they need 3 or 4 heroes. That's exactly what they're bringing. They're bringing ample numbers to every single fight. And I think Liquid, even though they're dying on these crucial cores, maybe this amount of resources required to do so is not all that bad, because they're still about neck and neck.
See, a bit of a repeat of what we had earlier. We are finding the opportunity going on from Stadium with the core. Going to get the kill, see if Mickey can get anything in return. Jumping way back to safety and mind control. More time to step across, grab Mickey with the call, dunk him down. As Nigma just continues to do an excellent job at finding these kills. Pretty much every attempt that Nigma goes for in this early game to get some sort of action, especially when it's around Weeha, it just ended up in success. Liquid taking some heavy hits here when it comes to the hero.
Yeah, I really do think the setup for all of this is so much about that shutting down that first DK ultimate, because a lot of these movements would be stopped if DK was applying a lot of pressure on the mid tower. But Phoenix able to defend that tower alone. As I've talked for 3 seconds, and we have another engagement bottom.
Yeah, Tiger is getting gone upon by Miracle.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Nigma just not missing a single beat when it comes to seizing any opportunity. Just go, and as soon as that kill happens, we sweep across the Weeha. He's making moves already with the smoke, trying to find the jump onto Foxy. Foxy's into the trees. Those will end in time to get him away. Use those leaps though to keep himself alive. Look what they found here too, a very juicy triple stack. They're going to be able to clear this out for themselves.
That's also 4 bounties going the way of Nigma, so that's just such a well-timed move, because they knew that nobody on the side of Liquid would be able to get the top bounties, so by committing 4 heroes here, they can safely just have the axe to pick up the other 2 bounties.
They've caught Weeha. Poiper with the stun set up and a lot of follow-up too. Foxy with the arrow, Tiger jumps in with the burrow strike, finally able to put an end to sort of Weeha's clean opening to this game. Top lane center. Bring Tiger across. Take this down. They've got the combo. Burrow strike into the arrows. And they will drop the epicenter as well. They're going to do every bit of damage to take down Mind. They will. They'll get him.
Yeah, there's so many movements from both teams. The Coddle gives global presence to a lot of these immobile heroes. Didn't really think about that just now, but that is going to help a lot of the weaknesses of the Liquid cores. Bristleback and DK can be able to farm other parts of the map if they need to be recalled to fights anyways. Kind of counteract the mobility from the Cost and the Void Spear and the Phoenix.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, Dream Core's back up to try and pounce. This focus around mid, though, causing continued space for Miracle to keep farming down bottom. Okay, gold in it. Okay, still the man at the top this game on his bristle. So, level with that. 11 for 7. Right there. Very, very close right now. Behind him. At some of the items, Tiger, he's creep away from the blink. Big component of fight that's going to enable them to start this chain stun do have between the Sand King, DK, and Mirana. Certainly make Weeha's life a little bit difficult. Saw last time, caught out by 1 stun, pretty much done for. Not a lot that his team can do to save him if he gets an issue.
Yeah, neither team really has any saves. They're all just a bunch of stuns and a bunch of damage. Mickey looks like he's going to be going for the hood immediately after the Vanguard, so he's going all about the tank. He's also got the Fairy's Trinket. I love this item on so many heroes, and on Bristleback, no different. Most of his damage coming out from the quills, and it is considered a spell, so 5% spell amp on that's not bad at all. I wonder if he'll rush the Eternal Shroud, or if he maybe goes back for kind of like the hood into another item, back into the Eternal Shroud.
What sort of options would you sort of consider if you were the carry Bristle, rather than, say, going away for the... Are you just sort of building Y? Anything else that you can sort of get to help you out damage-wise? Or do you think that he can afford to just build fully for the tank and rely on the rest of his team kills around him?
I think that S and Y would probably be the only reasonable item, but now that S and Y no longer gives spell lifesteal amp, it used to give that. I think it's not as good with the Eternal Shroud, even though that didn't used to exist. But you know, it used to be synergy with any hero that wanted to sustain. I think his damage items will come out later, and I also think his damage comes out of his like natural scaling, the level 20 talent. The Quill's damage, the level 25 talent for his right-click damage. I'm just, honestly, I don't think I've ever been more relieved by a pause, because I haven't had a second to catch my breath.
There's so much going on.
What's going on in this game?
No, it's great to see as well from these two teams. It's just something a little bit different. I feel like we've had a lot of games today and yesterday as well, really, where you can sort of look at it from really the end of the draft, sort of say, well, this game's going to be very hard for this team. This game is pretty even, right? Both teams, very comfortable lineups for themselves. This opening 12 minutes, it couldn't have been any closer.
See a Mirana ulti. They're looking to make something happen top. They have caught ultimate if they need to recall somebody else. Like both teams are kind of just at a stalemate here.
Yeah, they're bringing the four of them up. So not quite. Blink dagger, very close to. Tiger, of course, his on the courier. He's going to get done on before he can really do anything about it. Backup's coming in, but he's been out of position by the call. Good with the blow, strike out the dance there for Mike trying to finish up the job. Liquid bringing in the numbers. There's the opening stun onto We Are. They get the trade. Can they get more? Okay, quite trying to chase. Perot still with a stimulate left available. And ready to back up. GH is in the mid a little bit. All gets the egg off. Are they able to take it down? They try their best. Foxy and Mickey, they'll be able to do it. Supernova comes to an end, but Foxy loses his life for it. Soon, Mickey's still fighting fit though. He's got a lot of mana, a lot of HP to work with. He runs down mind control, cleans up the third. Liquid will be able to push back Nigma, come out on top. By their best attempts, Nigma, to really bring the fight to Liquid, entering their jungle. And as we saw, it is going to be a tricky game for GH, at least early on, to get these Supernovas off, as Liquid will be able to do a pretty solid job of taking it down, especially if Foxy's alive.
Yeah, you saw the Mirana pick paying off there. He did a great job of leap dodging the axe call in order to finish off the egg. And you can tell that he knows his purpose. He dies for it, and it's a worthy sacrifice in this case, because that egg going off spell a lost team fight anytime for Team Liquid.
Yeah, and you can really sort of respect why Liquid did get it for that alone. It don't really sort of matter about if you've got lackings elsewhere. It's very much worth to draft a pick to counter GH's Phoenix because of how great of a game you're just sort of used to seeing GH have on his Phoenix. Multiple times. Probably one of the best Phoenixes. So very much worth a pick just to guarantee you can take them.
Yeah, I think what makes these drafts so even from these tier 1 teams whenever I watch them is that every pick has a response. You don't see an egg that doesn't get dealt with. You don't see some pushing hero that they can't bring down. You don't see tanky heroes that don't have enough damage. It's like every hero has a solution. You know, and that means that both teams have plays that can always be made. They can always take team fights because, like, there's some sort of AoE combination of stuns from the Sand King, from the Phoenix, and both teams have some semblance of tower pressure. But in the form of Nigma, it's mainly the kill threat. So that's why Team Liquid is constantly able to contest these power pushes. And the beauty of the Coddle Bristle combo, a lot of people think of it as the mana, but I'll just harp again on reiterate the fact that the Coddle being able to bring the Bristle from wherever, he's basically a Spectre in regards to where he gets to farm. Like, it's not a matter of, like, you know, his teamfight presence, but the fact that he can be farming anywhere on the map as a hero that usually struggles with mobility, suddenly that's a lot of efficiency that racks itself up. And even though he had a couple early deaths, Bristle's still number 1 net worth 15 minutes in.
Moonlight popped in, be able to catch wind of Burrow's warning job, and now they'll be able to take his life. He done that now.
Dire's
Immediately
top
able to
tower
remove
is
that
under
vision.
attack.
Might He's jumping onto Tiger. Follow up from Miracle, and we are throwing everything down onto the Sand King. Tiger doesn't get a chance to throw anything out in return. I think down, Microchop is going to get caught out though, and he'll be the one to lose his life in return. Can they catch anything else? They can. An attempted TP out from Miracle, puts the stop by the Burrow Strike. He's trying to run with the solar vines, slowing him down. Miracle also pay with his life.
Dire's top tower is under
defense.
attack.
Tiger's buyback
Radiant's
ensures
top
them
tower
that
is
setup
under
and that
attack.
catch onto Miracle. I think that's definitely a work.
And it looks like he is going for the S&Y on Bristle. It is a very feels-good item on the hero, and it's nice against Axe. Really the only way to deal with call is to just make the call last less amount of time.
Radiant's top tower is under
It's going
attack.
to allow him to be more mobile in fights. It's also going to be a good way to deal with the rupture. The stats are so close to the game, and they're going to try to bring down this tank for it.
Yeah, straight in they go. The three of them. They've got one put down against Dusto. They have it as Tiger comes in with the counterplay. The Burrow Strike comes down, but GH will be able to pop
Radiant's
some bonus.
middle
As great as the Burrow Strike is, Liquid's got to back off. Get upstairs outside of range of the stun. Mind control. He's in with a blink. Catches Tiger. Dragging it back over towards Sweetheart. Follow silence. Tiger's down. For a very extended duration, of course, on the back of by that box. Trying to reinitiate. His jump forward set up onto Mind control. The blast is there from the Illuminate. Kuro's got to get out of it. Poiper. Refires attempt. Stimulates into dodging. Throws into the trees. Poiper's still surging. The arrow. Boxing. He hits it. Bang on target. Liquid, they may have lost Tiger, but again, happy to bring the ball back to Nigma. They get 2 kills in return. We have continue to poke at the side. He's got the boom coil. He's going to look to take out Insania with it, and he'll get it.
He really does not like Insania. I'm pretty sure that's 5 out of 6 coils that are only on Insania. Crazy part about this Bristle pick is even though it was first rounded, it seems like they have a decent amount of damage. But when I was talking about the draft, how all their heroes are about killing people, it seems like, yeah, every hero wants to kill people, but they don't have like the Slar or the OD or like the Ursa, a hero that, I guess OD not as much anymore, but the hero that capitalizes on the enemy living longer, right? Feasting on them with healing stats or doing more damage. You see that they can bring the Bristle down to like 20-30%, but they just don't quite have the finishing blow. If they don't bring down the Bristle, that's about the Liquid's equivalent of not killing the Phoenix Egg, right? Because he's going to have all that damage dealt to you with the quills. He got it salved up by Insania so he could rejoin the fight. And suddenly you're seeing the power of this Bristleback, and they're stacking ancients all game for him as well. So a hero that isn't traditionally known to farm super fast, suddenly skyrocketing in net worth. And
Dire's top tower
great game so far for him, despite being first round.
Dire's structures
Yeah, it really
are
is. We
fortified.
see that on the stats. He's found just as much from Newton Ancients as he has from lane.
Dire's top
Because
tower
of this,
is under attack. Dire's top tower
as we've come to know, just
fallen.
as a team throughout all of sort of recent appearances in the second half of 2020, Liquid by far the team that stacked the most. Quid. With the Moonlight. Nigma pretty prepared though. They're all here as a 5-man on the high ground. He was able to find the jump on who. He's going to show himself mid. Quaker in immediately with the Dragon Tails done. They got the first to kill him off. They do. Tiger has the follow-up epicenter. They take it down Weehar. Now they're going to look to try and get back out. Tiger with the Burrow Strike, but it's already been ruptured. Getting burned low by the Sunray. Mind shot. Coming to the reserve score to finish it. The egg is attempted, but again, they take it out straight away. They also find the cleanup of Miracle. Nigma, they've got to run. But Quaker in with the big Dragon Tails. Catches Crow as well. This time, a clean team fight win for Liquid as they take 4 heroes down.
Should have seen that coming.
Radiant structures.
Yeah, this is getting
are
out of control
fortified.
quick. These tanky heroes, it's all about hitting that threshold,
Radiant's
whether or
middle
not they can
tower
burst
is
you.
under attack.
And if they're being forced to now rupture a Sand King, that's kind of what I was worried about when I saw their draft, is that if
Radiant's
they fall
middle
behind at
tower
all,
has fallen.
there's just too many tanky guys. There's not enough spells to be casted on the side of Nigma to bring these guys down. Number one weakness of Puck is sustained damage over time. Like, and this is a hero that's been getting first rounded, considered very powerful this patch. And I think, like, it's amazing to see these top tier teams kind of just dissect a hero. It's like their entire draft is predicated around being so tanky that the damage from Puck eventually becomes underwhelming. And this is your mid hero. They didn't counter some 5-position hero. This is a mid Puck. And they try to make up for it, I think, with the Bloodseeker Axe, with a lot of like burst damage, pure damage, and I see what they're going for, and I really like it.
Dire's
but
middle tower is under
proving
attack.
to just not quite be enough.
No, for sure. And in a game where Nigma's been getting a lot done. It's not like they're suffering in the play. It really is, as you say, just an element of the fact that the heroes they have is not quite able to do enough to deal with what bring at this. The action. We are trying to get the Lincoln Sphere done so he has some sort of safety against this solid initiative. Quite cool. I can tell the death of him at times now.
I wonder if skipping that Spirit Vessel might be a massive mistake for Weehaw here, because bring down DK and Bristle mid-game. I think that reducing their heal over time, for Bristle, since he reduces 40% of the damage, every single health that he regens is even more impactful during the middle of a fight, because it represents more damage that you have to do to him. And they went for this Witch's Blade, which is a very common item we've seen on Puck. But this game,
middle tower
those times where Bristle barely lived, the times where DK barely lived, might not have been the case with the Spirit Vessel. So I wonder if they'll talk about that one after the game. But obviously this one's not over just yet. Liquid looks like they're grouping up, ready to smoke. Showing Bristle in lane, that's one of his strengths as a carry, is that you can kind of just farm wherever, and you never want to go on him.
Especially against a team like Liquid that's always going to have this sort of setup as we see Mickey. Whole team behind him. But trap bells get hurt. Top. For Kuro. Tiger. Finding the burrow strike. Kuro's got his hands on him. Gets away. They're going for the brooch. Mickey's going to start slowly wearing it down. Nigma, they do have the smoke and they have got the jump ready. What sort of fight they can try for mind control. A little off the mark with the call. As now Tiger, he's in the captain, they get the burrow strike down onto the two of them. GH going for the egg. They're trying their best to take it down. Get to the egg. Slip it over, they can. Again, taking it out. Both Mickey and Voigtberg just focused the Supernova completely. GH will buy back, but now he's without the ultimate.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Look at Insania's inventory. He's got the shovel, he's got the heals back up, runs right back in.
Gonna see he'll borrow the temper Nigma again to get the fight going. Mind control. He's getting low. Tiger's able to finish him. Jumps in the burrow strike. As it really just seems to be what you're saying right now, Brian. You know, Nigma, they're trying to do something, but it almost just feels impossible right now. Like what can they do? They're sort of running out of options against Liquid's lineup right now, with the build-up, the itemization they have. These heroes just too much for Nigma to deal with.
I think one of the worst feelings in Dota is playing the hero max once you're up top and having a guy that just walks into you and you just like can't do anything. You're supposed, like, these heroes are meant to just burst somebody. They're meant to be a threat. You're supposed to be afraid of them. You're supposed to be worried about your positioning at all times against heroes like this. And Mickey, he just ran straight up the high ground, with no care in the world. Doesn't even care if he's facing them. I love the Sand King pick specifically here because it offers an AoE stun that punishes them grouping up around the Bristle. We saw it top earlier when they tried to burst him when it led to the 4-man burrow strike. We saw it there. Just some sort of deterrent similar to the Axe Sig. Bristle is going to force everyone to group around him because if they don't hit him with 4 or 5 heroes, they're not going to kill him. And a lot of times people say, just ignore the Bristle. But he's hitting for 350 damage when he's got those Warpath stacks going.
I mean, for Nigma, is there any sort of...
Radiant are scanning.
You look at the sort of the Bloodseeker carry, Miracle. I mean, he just needs so many items, right? I mean, what sort of point does this Bloodseeker become a threat to the heroes? Liquid on top lane, we are trying to push out a lane. Phase shift off, but... As well, fine, some time. He'll be able to make it away. The trees he goes. Won't die today.
Yeah, Liquid's farming all 3 lanes, though. Bristle's farming bottom, Coddle's pushing mid, and the gang top is more of a, get out of here, this is our lane. And if Coddle groups up with his team top, he can bring the Bristle with him. Mickey's doing the same thing as we just saw top, bottom, but he can do it by himself because he's got the Aegis. This is all just map control. They're the sheepdogs. Nigma's the sheep. They're just trying to herd them. That's all they're trying to do. And now Nigma is stuck on their triangle. This is what I see almost every tier 1 team do with their Aegis, right? They're just going to slowly just group you together and then eventually choke you out so that the net worth lead is going to go up and up. If they can kill this thing, that'd be really good. But Taiga, he's ready. He's not going to get surprised by this kind of stuff. He knows he's alone. He's the one vulnerable on his team, and he is instantly ready to react when the axe tries to jump in.
So much pressure coming in from Liquid now. Okay, knocking on tier 2. Nigma, but the 4 of them sat top. Behind Miracle in case
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Pistol blade done.
26 minutes in. This is some crazy levels of farm on Liquid Bristle.
It's all from the coddle stacks and the mana. He doesn't have to buy any mana items. And he gets all those extra stacks. So nice for Bristle. One of his biggest weaknesses is having to buy so many region items to actually use his quills off cooldown. But that's just not the case with Keeper of the Light.
Radiant instantly Dragon Tail started at the same time. Mike just looks over towards the backline, commits to both. So keep the very deep. They can easily keep themselves out of range. Full control on the Tiger. They take down Tiger. Miracle's trying to fight against it, but Nick with the basher. The Abyssal, he's just backing him up. Controlling Miracle through the BKB. As Miracle's down for a minute, no buyback. Kuro will be soon to fall. And Liquid, they can just start taking the base. They've got the creeps moving in on the bottom. Backdoor protection comes down. We are trying to clean them out. Push back these waves. But it's only down to him and GH, and it really does feel like it's just the last 10 minutes of this game.
Radiant's bottom
it's just been a walk in the park for Liquid's lineup.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, the pace of this game is absolutely nothing for both teams. And it's definitely a threshold where either the Liquid cores are versatile and they can't play the map, in which case they're going to be inefficient and they're going to fall behind, or the Liquid cores are unkillable and they can play all 3 lanes. That was kind of the story of this game. I think both teams made a lot of good moves, but at the end of the day, like a few things where Mickey doesn't quite get brought down top. These momentum swings and these type of matchups where it's like, can you kill us full of 0 or not, are going to completely decide the game. And Liquid looks like they're going to completely run away with it, as they now run away after killing 2 lanes of barracks.
Has fallen.
21k here at 28 minutes in. I mean, the thing is, when you sort of look at the game now, like, how one-sided was the draft? Like, what could have played out differently for Nigma to have not got to this against Liquid?
I don't think it's like a one-sided draft. If you look at the net worth, it's not like this. Oh, okay, they don't even get the second here.
Oh, Tiger, he's up on the cliff. Trying to burn him down with the Stone Ray. Kuro's already dead at the start. We are getting on the back line to boil down onto Boxy. He's popping the egg. Tiger's still staying. He's slowly burning up on this cliff, so they won't get Tiger.
Monster kill.
Meanwhile, Mickey stops up DD and he kills off Weehar. Weehar's gone.
Yeah, if you look at the net worth charts, this game was completely even at 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They've accrued all of this 22k net worth lead in the last 13 minutes. Well, it's just a matter of those mid-game skirmishes where who comes out on top. Like, that was all it was. Because the thing is, once you kill Bristle like 2 or 3 times in the mid-game, it becomes easier and easier to kill him. And same with Dragonite. But if you struggle to kill them, it's becoming more and more difficult to kill them. That's exactly what you're seeing. Now, we're starting to grow the way this game's played out. As Nigma, I like how they're giving their final stand here. They're not going to go down without a fight.
Giant Miracle. Oh, it's big at the end, and he walks into the hour. No, he's stepped the score. As he runs straight into it, takes a head first. The arrow from Boxy. Now he's down and out. Poifer just killing them outside of the fountain. As there's no defense that Nigma can put together here. Liquid is looking to close up this game 1, and they'll do so. GG is forward. And Liquid, as you say, just mid-game onwards, is on complete fire, and really nothing that Nigma could do whatsoever to slow them down, as Liquid just snowballed completely out of control for the second half of that game.
Yeah, I'll say that Miracle play at the end there, maybe he thought his BKB was still going to be going, but I think that was more of a camaraderie.